Hi, for my book presentation, I decided to do the book Ida B and her plan to maximize fun, avoid disaster, and possibly save the world. The author of my book is Catherine Hannigan. The illustrator of my book is Paul Zachrins. The publisher of my book is Green Willow Books. And the genre for my book is young adult fiction children's literature. I would say it's a 4 to 8th grade. It is a 4 to 8th grade reading level. There are 246 pages and 32 chapters. For a summary of my book, I would say that as it starts out, there is a girl who's in 4th grade. Her name's Ida B, and she decides that she doesn't like public school. She went to public school for a couple days, decided she didn't like it, so her mom decided to homeschool her. They live on an apple orchard, and she has her friends and family, but her friends are mainly the apple trees and a brook and a old wise tree that she talks to. And she talks to them a lot in this book, and they talk to her back and just kind of what she would imagine in her head of going out and talking. As the story goes on, she has a few hardships in the book. One is her mom falls ill to cancer. And the second one is after her mom falling ill to cancer, she finds out that she is going to have to go to public school because her mom can no longer homeschool her because of her illness. And also that her dad is going to have to sell part of the apple orchard to pay for the medical expenses. These were two big things to Ida B that were pretty much her life. And with selling the apple orchard, she feels that she has let down the other trees that she sees as friends because they're tearing down the trees to build a new house, the new family that bought it was. So she decided right away that she wasn't going to like the family that moved there. Secondly, with her mom getting cancer and she having to go to public school, she decided she was going to hate public school right off the bat, and she wasn't even going to give it a try because the first time that she went to public school, she did not like it. As the story goes on, she talks about, not liking public school, things that she does to try to not show that she likes it. And even when she comes home, she doesn't want to talk to her mom and her dad, and she excuses herself from the table quite a few times and just is really upset with the way things are and is acting upset. When the story goes on, the teacher always comes and sits by her on the steps at recess, which that's all she does. She does not go play. And the teacher tries many times to get her to talk and can't get her to talk, but then has her paired with a kid named Ronnie, who she eventually makes friends with by the end of the book, and helps Ronnie with math, and since she is really good at math. So the teacher does some really good things that I found to be something that I would do in my classroom, because being persistent and letting them know that you're always there is a good thing. By the end of the book, she realizes that things have to be said and that she has to say sorry. She did try to scare one of her classmates, who is actually the family that moves into the house. Her name's Claire, and she has to end up saying sorry to Claire and knowing that everybody goes through different things in life and that she has to be the bigger person and say sorry and learn to deal with the differences. At the end of the book, her mom does help kind of get better with cancer, and she gets to plant new trees for the apple orchard, which is in turn helping her think that she's doing good for the orchard and the other trees and trying to make better on her word that she would take care of them. That's kind of the synopsis of the story. Another thing is just that it teaches a lot of good life lessons. So that's why I would use this book in my classroom, is because the life lessons that it teaches are great. It teaches that, we have to be a bigger person. We have to say sorry if we did something wrong. Like, she yelled at Claire and scared her, and so she has to say sorry and she has to own up to her mistakes. So that would be a really good reason to use this in your classroom. Also, if somebody's going through a hardship, like getting cancer or another disease, this might be a good book and way to use it as instructional text in your classroom because they could relate to it. So maybe letting them read it on their own if they are a good enough reader would be a good way to use this book. I connected this book because I live on a farm, and it sounds silly, but you kind of think of things as, they can talk back even though they can't. And going out and sitting and just talking and getting things off your chest is one of the best things ever. And so I kind of related to her that way. Also, my grandma had cancer when I was younger, and she didn't make it, but this story where she gets better would be really great for somebody who is going through that. And having to say sorry when, just having to be the bigger person. I know everybody's had to say sorry at one point in their life, and this really teaches you that it's okay to say sorry. Be the bigger person. It's all right. Catherine Hannigan is my author. She lives in Iowa, and she is a very big nature person and loves animals. She was born in 1962 in Lockport, New York. She has written 3 other books called Gwendolyn Grace, Emmeline and the Bunny, True, Sort of, and then again, Ida B. Ida B was a New York Times bestseller and a Parents' Choice Gold Award. It won awards in 30 other states and was her first book that she published.